Hey, what's up, everybody? And we're back. I wanted to share with you another topic. I get people who inbox me, email me, text me, call me all the time, and they want me to speak with their, daughter or their son or family member, or they themselves are interested in living abroad. So I just want to share with you very briefly about what life is like as an expat. An expat is simply someone who lives outside of their country in another country. So I lived as an expat in South Korea for an entire year. My experience was both good and bad. It wasn't all good, it wasn't all bad. What I can say is when it was good, it was great. And when it was bad, it was bad. Being a person of color, I learned that racism is not just here in the US of A, land of the free. Mm. Which is so ironic and it's a paradoxical statement. But I did also learn that racism is very big abroad. Okay. I have traveled to, pretty much every continent with the exception of Africa, ironically. Oh, and Australia. I haven't gotten there just yet. Antarctica, I'm trying to work on that, and everybody keeps saying, Mia, you're absolutely crazy for wanting to plan a trip to Antarctica, but don't judge me. So, if you are a person of color, do expect some racism. Do expect to have thick skin. If you do not have thick skin, living abroad as an expat may not be for you. You are going into a place where it is a huge cultural clash. I cannot tell you how many days I woke up and thought, Lord Jesus, what did I just do? You are living, you're already the minority, first of all. Okay, you're already a minority. But then you go somewhere else and you are like doubly the minority. Okay, if that makes sense. You go from being just a person of color to now you are a foreigner and a person of color. So sometimes you can't figure out if people are staring at you because you're a foreigner or if people are staring at you because you're black. So that was my experience quite a bit. Being a person of color, I got lots of stares. There were days that I had complete random strangers who walked up to me and wanted pictures. As you can see, I like accessories, I like jewelry, I like fashion and things of that nature. So that was pretty much a big topic of discussion because I would always have people who wanted to, touch my jewelry. I taught school while I was abroad, so the children absolutely loved playing in my hair. They loved playing with my jewelry and things of that nature. And then there were days when I would literally be standing on the subway and a person was like walk up to me. It's like, ooh, black person. So it would be a lot of these really weird scenarios that took place. I have been called a little bit of everything, honey. I've been called, of course, black, that's common. I've been called Blackie. I've been called a man, which clearly I don't look nothing like no man, but honey, they tried it. They tried it. I've been called a man. I've been called a monkey. I've been called a lot of stuff. Okay, and then of course, in teaching, I remember when I was teaching about people of color such as Harriet Tubman, the children thought it was a joke. So when it was time for Halloween time, the children would call me Miss J. And so they would say things like, oh, Miss J, who are you dressing up for Halloween as this year? Harriet Tubman. And it would be as a joke. It would not be, okay, you're dressing up as Harriet Tubman so that, you can be inspirational and we want to be like you and yada yada. No, it was, okay, it's Harriet Tubman. And there were several occasions where I had children who would raise their hand in class and say that Harriet Tubman was ugly, that she was a man, that she was black, that she looked like dirt. And so clearly they weren't trying to say it on a positive note. Okay. So racism is big. I said all that to say racism is big. You definitely have to have thick skin. If you are going overseas in search for, something greater and meaningful in life, I understand. I went overseas at a very pivotal time in my life. It worked. which I have also released a book about. If you are interested in purchasing that book, the name of the book is Soul to Soul, The Journey Back to Me. Certainly leave me a comment or hit me up on Twitter or Instagram at The Real Mia J. That is at TheRealMiaJ. You can get the entire account of my trip. I have so much great feedback on my trip, because what I did was I took all of my blogs that I combined them and turned it into a book with pictures and the whole 9 yards. So if you're interested, hit me up with that. Person of color, if let's talk about hair. Honey, listen, if you're a man, or if you're or a woman with long hair, either genders, I would suggest that you get a friend back in the States who will send you product on a care package, and send that quite a bit. You can do that, or you can also order online. Online shopping became my friend, so I did a lot of shopping online. If you go overseas and you try to go into stores, international markets, foreign markets are very expensive. I.e., I tried to get a box of Velveeta macaroni and cheese, and I spent like $8 or $9. It's very expensive. With hair, no shade, not being funny, but the only time I was able to find stuff with hair was if I went to like a shop where Africans work, where Africans, had their own businesses set up. And I mean, they were from all over the continent of Africa. I mean, I met people from Ghana, I met people from Zimbabwe, I met people from South Africa, I met people from Nigeria. I mean, the whole continent, like they were all there, and they were booming businesses. Okay. So I could get product for my hair, but like any other business person, they gonna monopolize on your money, honey. Okay. And so relaxers, if you want a relaxer for your hair, my suggestion, order it online through Amazon. You need an IP blocker. Mine that I use was Hotspot Shield, and basically what it does is it blocks your IP address on your computer, so that you're able to log back into websites in the States. So if you have a Netflix account, if you have a Spotify account, anything like that, if you do not have an IP blocker, then they will not let you view it. So basically I had an IP blocker so that I could shop, so I can keep current on my shows like Scandal, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop, Grey's Anatomy. I was able to stay current and watch it with you all because I had an IP blocker. I was able to stay current in my clothing. I love Ashley Stewart. I'm a huge Ashley Stewart and Mon of C customer. And so I was able to purchase things, coats, clothes, you name it. I bought it. I had an IP blocker, and they do ship internationally. For hair, I was able to buy things on Amazon. I was able to buy things on overstock.com. I bought an FHI flat iron, actually, from Overstock. And so, if you need any product, whether it's hair products, whether it is toiletries, anything like that, my suggestion is to have a trusted friend who will send things to you. Or if you have PayPal them the money. Do what you have to do to have it set up where they can actually send it to you. All right, so we've talked about racism. We've talked about your hair care. We've talked about needing thick skin. Oh, I started talking about if you're in search for something meaningful, which I did. I'm not against that. I do not encourage people who are fresh out of high school or fresh out of college and have never lived life. I don't encourage people to do it. Here's why. When I went overseas, I was already in my 30s. Okay. I'd already lived on my own. I had already been to college. I already had a master's degree when I went overseas. Okay. So I wasn't going overseas to sow my royal oats. I wasn't going overseas to run away from my parents. I wasn't running overseas to find myself and, just cut the complete fool. Unfortunately, I found many, many, many times that there were these young children, and I say children very lightly because I was much older than the people that I met out there. They would come straight out of school, and 9 times out of 10, they would come out there and they would always stay drunk. There was always alcohol, involved, or there was a lot of sex involved. A lot of sex. And I mean like dangerous, waking up and they're just like, who's this person? So that happened quite a bit. No shade. If that's your lifestyle, boo, do you. Okay. But for me, and my lifestyle, I am, I'm a young woman. I do believe in, purity and chastity, and remaining chaste before God. I do believe in a certain lifestyle. So again, if that's not you, no shade. Do not inbox me. Do not leave little nasty comments and all of that, because it's not being judgmental. I'm not trying to judge you for your lifestyle. Do you, boo? Do whatever you're gonna do. But if you are looking to live that type of a lifestyle, I would admonish you to be very careful. I would admonish you to make sure that you've matured a little bit before coming overseas, and if you should just choose that you just have to get away, make sure you have a solid support system, that you have accountability, because accountability will be important. All right. I can go on and on this topic, but I am running out of time, honey. So listen, I'll just leave this as part one. You can always hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. That is at the real Mia J. Again, that is at TheRealMiaj. Follow me. I follow back. DM me. Hit me up. I do respond. I don't bite. And I look forward to speaking to you another time. Blessings.